The next one, ooh, my hair is doing strange things. Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with my favorite romance authors. So with it being February, I think last year or the year before, it's probably last year, I did a list of my favorite romances, which, that was a really weird way of saying that. I don't know what just happened. I'll leave it linked above if you'd like to check it out. I think they're pretty accurate at this point. I mean, I might add a few to the list that I hadn't read yet, but like, when I have a good romance, I like a good romance. So this year I thought I'd sit down and just kind of name my top 10 favorite romance authors. Now, these are in no order. I just love all of these people and I decided to make it a good even 10 is really what I decided. Actually, I think there's only 9 now that I say that because I couldn't think of someone else. Like, I couldn't think of someone without excluding someone. Now, I made this list and I realized that all of them are women. So, here we are. So if you've got any good, like, male romance authors out there, let me know down below. All of these are going to look really familiar because I read them all of the time and gush about them all the time. These are all definitely, like, auto-buy authors for me at this point. So, I love them all dearly. So this is just going to be one giant gush fest of a video. And I'm not even a little bit sorry. So, stay tuned if you're new and you don't know any, like, if you're trying to get into romance. Here are some people that, like, I would suggest all of the time. The first one, of course, is Tessa Dare. I specifically love her Girl Meets Duke series, which are these three. You've got the Duchess Deal, the Governess Game, and the Wallflower Wager. There's still one more that's yet to come out, I think in a couple of years, from this series. I love Tessa Dare's writing because I love her historical romances, and I love them. I just love the setting, but also she writes so funny. I mean, I don't know how to explain it except for that, like, you're reading this book and all of a sudden you just start cackling out loud because something the character said or thought was really funny, but they're also so accurate. Like, they're funny, but it's also something like, the best way I can describe it is, like, not only are they funny, they are also very realistic, because, like, they'll say something and you're like, that is exactly what that is like. I would have never thought to phrase it that way, but that is exactly what that is like. So you're not only cackling because it's funny, you're cackling because it's relatable. So if you like a good, like, historical romance author, I think this is a good one to start off with because she has a good deal of plot. It's not just romance, but her romance scenes are very good. So yeah, Tessa Dare. Also, she's funny, and, like, it's just a very fun experience. But the next one is another one of my historical fiction romance staple on this channel, and that is Joanna Lindsay. So, I primarily am obsessed with her Mallory series at the moment. Have I read them all? No, I've literally read, like, one. But I've read a couple other books by this author. She also has a very fun writing style. It's not as whimsical and not as funny as Tessa Dare's is, but it definitely has that very classical historical twist to it, and, like, it keeps you on the edge of your seat. So these are the first 3 in the Mallory series, which is like 10,000% long, but she's also the first historical romance author I ever read from. I read one of her books called The Heir, like, many years ago, and I just fell in love with the time period and the romance of it. So I highly recommend her if you're looking for something more along, like, classic historical romance, but it's not like she writes in a way that's hard to understand. It just has a more classical feel to it, while Tessa Dare is a little bit more of a contemporary feel, but I still abide by her books. I think her books are incredible. I love her characters. I love her. Period. Another one of my favorites is Talia Hibbert, who wrote the Brown Sisters series. We've got Get a Life, Chloe Brown, Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I'm sure many of you have heard of these books. These are very similar and humor, I think, to the Tessa Dare books. They have those moments where you're just literally cackling. But I love her books so much because they are, I mean this in the highest compliment ever. They are so British, and I love every second of it. Because, like, I don't know, just like the way that they talk is very British. The humor, the words, it's all a very British humor. And I love that stuff. Like, that is my thing. So I'm a huge fan of this series specifically. I've read one other thing by her that I didn't love that book, but her romance itself is incredible. So, like, I highly recommend her if you want a good romance, but also a very diverse romance, because, like, I don't know if you can tell by, like, all of these books, but, like, all of her romances are really diverse. I adore her writing so much. It is sexy, it is funny, it has those moments where you're like, yes, that's it, but also the inner monologues of our characters are my favorite part. Another good author, this is actually an author duo, so you should not be surprised at all, is Christina Lauren. I love Christina Lauren. So this is an author duo, like I said, of Christina. I don't remember their actual names, but it's Christina and Lauren, and they like combined their names. And they have been writing romances for God knows how many years, and they always come out with such good and different stories. I've read just like a handful like these of their crazy backlogged books. They also have a YA book. They've got, I think they even have like some weird spooky book as well. But like their romances are top notch. And they've got crazy things from like you want to be on the beach, you want to have like an office romance, and or friends to lovers, but office romance. Like there's everything in here. Also catfishing kind of in this one. So like they've got a lot of fun romances, and they're all so different. There's a new one coming out this year that's very like adventure-y. So if you like going on hikes and stuff like that and treasure hunting, that's coming out this year. But I adore them, and I can't quite put a finger on why I love their writing so much, but their stories are so different, and you fall head over heels for the characters, and also their smexy scenes are like top notch. Like, oh my goodness, they're so good. Like, I read what was this one? Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating was one of my first couple that I read of theirs, and I was like, cool, I'm in head over heels. I love them so much. And I think it's really cool that not only are they crazy published authors with a crazy backlogged list of books, they're like best friends who are just writing because they like it. So I adore their books, and yeah, I will never stop raving about Christina Lauren and how much I love their books, and also recommending them, because like I feel like they have such a wide range of plots that everyone can find something that they will like. Another author that I love, and I actually haven't talked about in quite a while, is Alyssa Cole. I have a lot of her books. So she did the Reluctant Royals series, which is this trilogy with like a couple of novellas. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's like people who are part of royalty and they don't want to be part of royalty, so you've got royalty romances, but they are, again, top-notch sexy scenes. Like, they're good, but it's also very contemporary. There's also, as you can see, quite a lot of diversity in here. I believe we've also got some, like, mental health and, like, disability rep. Yeah, like, this main character is in a wheelchair. Things like that. So you've got some good representation in here as well. But who doesn't love a good royalty romance? I mean, where could you go wrong? And then she does have a couple other series. This one I do own. This one is called the Runaway Royals series, and so we've got a couple of different books. One of them is a female-female romance, and they also revolve around royalty. I know that she does have a historical series as well that takes place in the South, and it's all about spies during like the Civil War. So like all of her books are so much fun. You fly through them like nobody's business, and I need to dive into her stuff again because I haven't got as far as I want to, but I adore her stuff. I adore her writing style. It's just so much fun. Another author that I love is Martha Waters, who has written the Regency Vows series. We have To Have and To Hoax and To Love and To Loathe. She's coming out with a new one this year called To Marry and To Meddle. And these are all Regency romances. They're all kind of second chance romances / hate to love a little bit. And again, she has a very, very funny humorous writing style. The first one in this series definitely is more of like this married couple playing pranks on each other, and then this one is like a, I don't know, this woman trying to help this guy out in the bedroom a little bit, and like they have a romance from that. I don't remember what the next one is primarily about, but it's just, her books are just so much fun. I love her writing style. She has the best banter I think I've ever written. Like, the banter between our characters, primarily and To Have and To Hoax, was incredible. I loved it. The situations are funny. They're maybe not the most historically accurate books out there, but they're just pure fun. So like, if you want like just a good time, her books are the place to go. And also, maybe don't read them in public because you will be laughing out loud. Another author very, very similar to Martha Waters is Evie Dunmore, who has written the Extraordinary Women's series. Yeah, A League of Extraordinary Women. And so we've got Bringing Down the Duke, A Rogue of One's Own, and Portrait of a Scotsman. There is a fourth one coming out in this at some point. But this book was her debut, and it did not feel like a debut. It felt so well written. The characters were so well crafted. This is a good series if you want a good romance, but you also want a pretty good plot as well, because this takes place around the women's suffrage movement in England. The first one takes place in 1879, and so it really takes place in this friend group that kind of develops in the first book. So if you want like more of a plot with your books, then this is definitely like a series for you. But again, she's really, really funny. She's got some really good humor. Not as much as Martha Waters, in my opinion, but her banter is still like on point. You just love the interactions between the main couple, and whatever book you're reading, you're just like waiting for the next time they're going to have a conversation, because it is a war of words, and I love every second of it. So this is definitely a good historical romance if you want some more substance to your plot. The next one is maybe not classified as primarily romance, it's more fantasy romance, but like, it's romance, and that is Sarah J Maas, who wrote the ACOTAR series. So say what you will about her writing, she can write a really good romance, and like, especially I think in the last two books in the series, but primarily in her new book, A Quarter Silver Flames, and then as well as her Crescent City series. I think she's really good at crafting those scenes between our main characters, where like, you just can't wait until the next scene. You're ready for the next scene where they're going to have a conversation, where their relationship is going to grow, and then her sex scenes are quite good, especially in her newer one, Silver Flames. It's more adult, so she's kind of let go a little bit more, whereas these were a little bit more constricted, but like, again, these are not YA by any stretch of the imagination. So I think she's really good at her relationship development, and her characters and the romance between them they're always so good. You always love and like fall head over heels for whatever guy is in the relationship. So yeah, I love her a lot. The next one is Lily Menon, and this is her only book right now, which is Make Up a Breakup, but she does have one more adult book coming out this year. But you might also know her as Sandhya Menon, because that's what she publishes her YA books as. So I say Lily / Sandhya. Lily, her more adult stuff is more romancy, in my opinion. The YA things, I mean, it is a romance book. It is a YA romance. It gives you all of this like rom-com feels. So if you want a rom-com in a book, look towards her stuff. But as I've grown older, I'm more interested in her adult things, because like, I don't know, YA romances and I think I'm at an age where like we don't gel as much as we used to. But if you want something with not as much smut in it, or not as much like sexy scenes, then her YAs still give you all those fluffy feelings, all of those fuzzy rom-com feelings, if that's what you're looking for, because her YA is quite good. She's got this series, which is, I can't remember what the actual series is called, but it's all about fairy tales at like a private school. And then she's also got the Dimpleverse series, and then Make Up Breakup is about an app, and these two people like hate to love romance as well. So if you love rom-com with sex, give her adult stuff a try. If you love rom-com with no sex, give her YA stuff a try. So like, it's very cute. I really like her stuff. The best, like literally the best thing I can describe to you is, if you want a rom-com but in a book, you try her stuff out because you will not be disappointed. And we will leave this video off with a bang and talk about Katie Robert. So Katie Robert is one of those people that I have read one of her things, which is Neon Gods, but everything she writes sounds really interesting. She is the queen of smutty romance. So if you want those real adult things, she is your person to go to. Her 2 series that, in my opinion, sound the most interesting are the Dark Olympus series, which is a contemporary look at Greek mythology, and then you've got her Wicked Villains series, which is a contemporary look at Disney villains and romances between Disney villains and respecting characters. She's got a ton more stuff out there, more contemporary things. I mean, you could find literally anything. I think she's got some mafia romance out there as well. I mean, literally, I'm trying to think of her crazy, ridiculous backlogged books, because she, kind of like Christina Lauren, just has everything you could possibly think of. But if you're someone who was there for the smut, she is someone to look out for. Also, trigger warnings for all her stuff, because everything is a little bit more adult for certain reasons. So if you can find any trigger warnings on all of her books, I would highly look into them, because they usually have something that you should be wary of. But her scenes, and I mean, like I said, I read Neon Gods, and like, I fell head over heels for these characters. I love her character development, because like, not only is she like a really good smutty writer, she also is really good at still having a good plot, still having some like character development between our characters and like within themselves, but also with each other. And like, she has it all, honestly. Like, she has everything you could want in a book. So I recommend her as well, and I am looking into reading quite a lot more of her stuff here this year, hopefully. But that is all I have for you guys today, so I hope that you enjoyed. Let me know down below what some of your favorite romance authors are, especially if you've got some male romance authors, because like I said, I've got a few, but I haven't read enough to know, you know? So I need suggestions. Give me all the suggestions, or just give me some of your favorites in general, because I mean, I need more of those too. Let's see, let's do the red heart emoji, or just like any heart. Let's just do any heart, because it's romance. We're talking about love. Leave a heart down below if you don't know what to comment. But if you like this video, and I very much hope that you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you'd like to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got all my social media down there, as well as other fun bookish links, so don't forget to check all of that out, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!